Joe Rogan is on fire this week as he just released another podcast episode with Mark Zuckerberg to discuss Zuckerberg's latest announcement that Meta is changing its censorship and fact-checking policies. Zuckerberg is trying very hard to right the ship and jump onto the right side of history after years of bowing to the Democrats' obsession with censorship of free speech. I've got two clips for you here from this interview that are very important for you to see. First, Zuckerberg is just caught lying here. Straight up, trying to be something that he was not, and we can't forget about the things that he and his company did. Check this out, and then I'll finish with the clip of him exposing what the Democrats and the Biden administration have done and how this has impacted not just the United States, but the entire world, and how governments work to censor social media companies. What he lays out here literally stuns Joe Rogan.
Now understand you have the pandemic, and then you have the administration that's doing something where I think they crossed the line, where it gets really weird, where they're saying what you're saying. They were trying to get you to take down vaccine side effects, which is just crazy.
It's so complicated, this system, that I could spend every minute of all of my time doing this and not actually focused on building any of the things that we're trying to do. AI, glasses, like the future of social media, all that stuff. So I get involved in this stuff, but in general, we have a policy team. There are people who I trust. They're the people who are kind of working on this on a day-to-day basis. And the interactions that I was just referring to, I mean, a lot of this is documented. I mean, because Jim Jordan and the House had this whole investigation and committee into the kind of government censorship around stuff like this. And we produced all these documents, and it's all in the public domain. I mean, basically, these people from the Biden administration would call up our team and like scream at them and curse, and it's like these documents it's all kind of out there.
Oh, did you record any of those phone calls?
I don't think we but I think
I want to listen.
I mean, there are emails. the emails are published. It's all kind of out there, and they're like, and basically it just got to this point where we were like, no, we're not gonna take down things that are true. That's ridiculous. They want us to take down this meme of Leonardo DiCaprio looking at a TV talking about how 10 years from now or something, you're going to see an ad that says, okay, if you took a COVID vaccine, you're eligible for, for this kind of payment, like this sort of like class action lawsuit type meme. And they're like, no, you have to take that down. And we just said, no, we're not going to take down humor and satire. We're not going to take down things that are true. And then at some point, I guess, I don't know, it flipped a bit. I mean, Biden, when he gave some statement at some point, I don't know if it was a press conference or to some journalists, where he basically was like, these guys are killing people.
Yeah. It's just a massive overstepping.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
also,
I think
you weren't killing people. This is the thing about all of this.
That's basically the journey that I've been on, right? Started off very pro free speech, free expression. And then over the last 10 years, there have been these two big episodes. It was the Trump election and the aftermath, where I feel like in retrospect, I deferred too much to the kind of critique of the media on what we should do. Mm-hmm. And since then, I think generally trust in media has fallen off a cliff, right? So I don't think I'm alone in that journey. I think that's basically the experience that a lot of people have had is, okay, it's the stuff that's being written about is not kind of all accurate. And even if the facts are right, it's kind of written from a slant a lot of the time.
Of course.
And then there was the government version of it, which was during COVID, which is okay. Like, it's like our government is telling us that we need to censor true things. It's like, this is a disaster.
So not all of us fell for what the media was telling us. Not all of us fell for this. And honestly, Mark, we don't care about your glasses or AI or anything that you're trying to build if you're silencing the truth. Now, I'll admit that I appreciate the efforts now to come back and get back on track and jump onto the right side of history. I really do. It's good to have Facebook and Instagram on the good side and protecting free speech like they should have been all along. But please do not act like you have always been on this side. Yeah, the Biden administration, what they did was terrible, but you complied. You're complicit. You were part of it. Don't act like you told the Biden administration no, because you didn't. You censored what they told you to censor. You censored things that were true, despite what you're saying here. You participated in this dangerous and tyrannical assault on free speech, which leads us to this last clip. This assault on free speech is way worse than we all thought. Watch this.
What was it like when they were attacking you? Like, first of all, what was the premise? Like, what were they saying was your offense? Was it that you were allowing information that was not true, that was getting out there? I know there was also, they're saying that you guys were allowing hate groups to speak. There was a lot of this.
Yeah. I mean, the tough thing with politics is that there's like, well, when you say someone's coming after you, are you referring to kind of the government and investigations and all that? I mean, so the issue is that there's what specific thing an agency might be looking into you for, and then there's like the underlying political motivation, which is like, why do the people who are running this thing hate you? And I think that those can often be two very different things. So, I mean, we had organizations that were looking into us that were like not really involved with social media. Like I think like the CFPB, like this financial, I don't even know what it stands for. It's the financial organization that Elizabeth Warren had set up.
Oh, great.
And it's basically, it's like, we're not a bank.
The
right?
debanking section.
Yeah, no, so like we're not a bank, right? It's like what does Meta have to do with this? But they kind of found some theory that they wanted to investigate, and it's like, okay, clearly they were trying really hard, right, to like find some theory, but it like, I don't know, it kind of like throughout the party and the government, there was just sort of, I don't know how this stuff works. I mean, I've never been in government. I don't know if it's like a directive or it's just like a quiet consensus that like, we don't like these guys, they're not doing what we want, we're going to punish them. But it's tough to be at the other end of that.
What was it like?
Well, it's not good. I think. Well, the thing that I think is actually the toughest, though, is it's global, right? So, and really, when you think about it, the U.S. government should be defending its companies, right? Not be the tip of the spear attacking its companies. So we talk about a lot. Okay, what is the experience of okay, if the U.S. government comes after you? I think the real issue is that when the U.S. government does that to its tech industry, it's basically just open season around the rest of the world. Right? I mean, the EU, I pulled these numbers. The EU has fined the tech companies more than $30 billion over the last, I think it was like 10 or 20 years.
Holy shit.
So when you think about it, like, okay, it's like, $100 million here, a couple $1 billion there. But what it, I think really adds up to is this is sort of like a kind of EU-wide policy for how they want to deal with American tech. It's almost like a tariff. And I think the U.S. government basically gets to decide how are they going to deal with that, right? Because if the U.S. government, if some other country was screwing with another industry that we cared about, the U.S. government would probably find some way to put pressure on them. But I think what happened here is actually the complete opposite. The U.S. government led the kind of attack against the companies, which then just made it so like the EU is basically, and all these other places, just free to just go to town on all the American companies and do whatever you want. But I mean, look. Obviously, like I don't want to come across as if like we don't have things that we need to do better. Obviously, we do, and when we mess something up, we deserve to be held accountable for that, and just like everyone else.
Now, I wonder, what would you say accountability looks like, Mark Zuckerberg? What damage has been done worldwide by these tyrannical governments around the world utilizing all of the resources and power at their disposal to silence narratives that do not agree with them on social media? If this past U.S. election did not go the way that it did, not only would the U.S., but the entire world would be in serious trouble. The Democrats are still openly calling for censorship of social media companies. You know what? I'm just going to say this. I didn't get the COVID vaccine. I've been here shouting and standing up for free speech and one nation under God all along for the past year and a half, from day one, since I published my first video on this YouTube channel. And I was sitting here saying that this censorship issue was the most critical issue of this election. And you know what? I've been right. My decisions and talking points age like very fine wine. And it's not because I'm anything special, but because I strive with everything that I am to remain properly aligned and oriented toward God. And as I was telling my son this morning, this proper alignment results in remaining in truth day in and day out. It's a defense, it's a protection, and it never fails. I highly recommend it for everyone.